Hi everyone, welcome back to Scrambled Eggs, a podcast you'll hear only if you're lucky. I'm Zoe.
I'm Kingsley.
And today our topic will be about the favorite person in the entire world.
Wow.
Not our loved ones, but Taylor Swift.
Oh yes, Taylor Swift, our childhood idol.
A mommy.
Oh, that makes sense if we call her mommy because she literally like fit me for my entire teenagehood and also up till now. I've been a Swiftie for 10 years. This is my 10th year of being a Swiftie. I still remember 10 years ago I bought one of my first CDs, Fearless and Red. It felt just like yesterday and then it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I haven't actually counted how many years I have been a Swiftie, but I actually haven't really bought any of her merch or anything because it's so expensive and I'm like I'm poor. So now after
No, you're not.
but I really do love Taylor. So after I've gotten my first job, like now, actually the first thing I did was to get the vinyl from her new upcoming album, Midnights.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm still paying my respects to Taylor. It's just I was too poor before. I'm not rich like you, buying all her CDs and different versions and albums and stuff like that. But yeah, what's the first song you've heard of her? Like the first Taylor Swift song?
I think it's not the first song, but the first two songs because I cannot remember which one is the first. It's Love Story and You Belong With Me. I know it's very cliche. But I mean, when I was 11 and 12, it's so popular among all my friends. And
is it because of the music video? Because that music video is just so good?
I don't think it's about the music video, but it's just like, oh, you listen to Taylor Swift, oh, you're the cool kid.
Really?
It's more about that. Because when I was like way smaller, like before I knew Taylor Swift, it's Lady Gaga and Katy Perry.
Oh, Katy Perry was
So Lady Gaga's Bad Romance is like my first Western pop song that I've ever listened to, and then I have E.T., I have those Katy Perry's classics, and then suddenly like boom, Taylor Swift, and then like all my friends are listening to Taylor Swift, and then they're all talking about Taylor Swift, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should give it a try, and I'm like, oh, that cool. I can find myself like enjoying her music. Right.
I think I remember like actually the first song I've heard of her was Mean, and I remember watching it in like during like lunchtime. There's like a music video of her. It's not my favorite song to be honest, but I think she has won like a Grammy, and like this song was very popular at that time. But I started like this song introduced me to this artist, and I like really liked her because she looks really pretty, and you know the kind of very typical like pretty girl in the industry. But then like I started listening to her songs, and I feel like it's not like we're in the same age group or anything, but it feels like most of the things she's written feels very relatable at that time. And like when you start going through like, you know, heartbreaks and stuff like that in your high school years, and it just feels like, oh, it's so relatable, and you feel like, oh, I'm just a sad girl listening to Taylor Swift and things like that. And yeah, sometimes like besides like the lyrics, how well it's written, I feel like the music, the rhythm, the melodies, also like a really big like bop and things like that. Usually when I start listening to the songs, usually just like the musical side of it. But then when you're sad, you start to really look into the lyrics, and you just find out how well the lyrics are written. And I think Taylor at that time was just like, I don't know, 19 or 20 or 21, and then she's just super young, and then she's just has this like amazing music videos and like amazing songs in her albums.
I agree a lot with the point that you said, like it's not only about her lyrics but also about the music, about the song itself, because I think like Fearless, this album is my first time I fully appreciate an album as a body of work, because I have no concept of how an album should work. Like in an album you have a concept, you have a set track list, you have a certain idea, you have the ups and downs, climax, certain type of things. And then it was my first time understanding how I should structure an album and what a good album is. That is my very first time. And then I listened to Red. it was just so phenomenal to me because I was so into this ups and down journey, and starting from State of Grace until the last song, Begin Again, is a journey. It tells a story, and you can feel the heartbreaks, and the lyrics are just so on point, and some of them are really brutal. Like All Too Well.
I haven't really gotten into the albums like Fearless or Speak Now because I feel like it's not too much my taste. But then I started listening to Red, and then like there are so many good hits. Like I think I Knew You Were Trouble was like one of my favorites, and it's so relatable, you know, when you're in that like teenage phase and stuff like that. And then now I'm listening to her re-recorded version of Red, Taylor's version, and like the songs from the Vault is just so good. Like I think one of my favorites from the Vault is Nothing New. I really like admire the fact that she can re-record his albums, and we can now have like a glimpse into Taylor's mind when she was that young. And then like that song, I think it would have less of an impact if she has released it back then. But now like 10 years later into the industry, and you see that like she was having like the fame and glory and everything, but she's still in like constant fear of losing that and things like that phase of mind. And then you listen to that and you just feel so sad, but you feel so happy for her at the same time, because what she feared, like she fears that she will not be liked anymore, or she fears that she's not relatable anymore. And 10 years later, she's even more popular than ever because of her personality, because of her diligence, like resilience and things like that. And it just makes me so happy. And like we get Taylor's version, All Too Well, 10 minutes version, and like absolutely love it. But I feel like 10 minutes version, as in this song, if she actually published a 10-minute version back then in just like the Red album, I don't think it would have been such a big deal. No. But like now, like she published like it now, and then it's just such a massive deal because like first of all, she built like an audience of people who really loves the song and like the narrative of the song and things like that. And now she also managed to get like a music video out of it in a 10-minute version. It's like, you know, getting like like an extra book to your favorite series and stuff like that. It just makes everyone like feel like, oh my god, I want to watch it, and it's so good. And like the music video itself just is so much better.
And I think it's like a fan reward of like like how you liked her for so many years, and then finally, and I think All Too Well is like a common language between Taylor and the fans. Like it's like a secret
She's
code.
giving us what we want.
Yes. And every time when you ask a Taylor Swift fan, like, what is the most popular song among the fandom, is All Too Well. And the fact that...
Where is the scarf?
And the fact that after 9 years of the original album, and she released the re-recording version, and then she gave us this original All Too Well. It's just phenomenal. And
it's so good.
And also, talking about Nothing New, I agree with you so much, because I think if she released Nothing New back then when she was 21 or 22, people would say, "Oh, you're such like." Of course, you can say that you're so famous, and then this thought is so naive. Of course, everyone likes you. You know what I mean? But I think if, like, now that she released it after 9 years of the original record, and then she released this song, and then the idea just pops up, because the fear of losing the love from the general public still continues up till the album Lover, because I still remember that in the Miss Americana documentary, she talked about she's so afraid of not being famous anymore. She really wants to, like, before she turned 30, she can be successful for the one last time. She talked about the fear of losing fame, but well, she's even more popular now.
Yeah. And when I was listening to Red recording album, I feel like when I was first listening to Red, like not Taylor's version back then, I would pay more attention to like her breakup songs, you know, like Love and Red and I Knew You Were Trouble and things like that. But now listening to the recording, I feel like I'm listening more to the like stories that are not about love, you know, like Ronan. It's also about love, but it's like a mother love towards the children. It's not like romantic love. And like Nothing New and like, you know, Forever Winter, I think that's like love between friends and things like that. I feel like it's it's a more overview of like Taylor's life than like not just like the media portray it back then. Oh, Taylor Swift's just like a dating machine and things like that.
Yes.
She has so much more other feelings and other things she cares about in life, not necessarily just like, you know, breakup songs that define her and things like that. And I feel like that's a better version of showing like how, you know, using Red as this album, showing Taylor overall as a person.
And not gonna lie, when I first listened to Ronan, that song, because obviously I listened to that song back then when I was 11 when it first released. I still remember I was in Malaysia. I was in Kuala Lumpur in a hotel lobby when I listened to Ronan. And of course, as an 11-year-old child, you wouldn't expect to understand the meaning of the song. But I think after 9 or 10 years, and when I listened to the song again, I almost cried. I didn't know why, but I think it's just because when you grow up, you sort of understand more about the relationship between you and your family, especially your mom. And I think I kind of feel the feeling of like losing your child, losing the loved ones. And I think Ronan, that song is just too true that we may lose our loved ones someday. And yeah, it's just so brutal.
I feel like it's really nice that Taylor actually paid tribute to Ronan by writing this whole song. And like one of the lyrics that stuck with me the most is how the mother actually like is holding the hand-me-downs from for her child, but like something that he'll never go into because he passed away. And it's just like, it's not like you're just writing, a boy died because of cancer or because of like illness, but then you actually wrote, like she actually wrote about this feeling of a mother, like was seeing some inanimate objects and then reminding her of his son. And that's like so genuine, because most of the times it's not just like depicting, your you know loved one dies, full stop. No, it's more like you seeing maybe a cup that your grandmother used to use, or like a sweater that she made for you, and things like that that triggers all the emotions. And she managed to put that in a song, and it's just so nice.
I remember the moment when like the time when I first came to the UK, and then my mom was like packing my stuffs. Yeah, she's packing my toothbrush and then the cup, stuff like that. And then she told me a few months later, like when she packed those stuffs, she's like she almost cried because she felt like she lost me already.
She feels like, oh my god, my baby is growing up. He doesn't need me no more.
And then my son is away from me already. He's in the UK. And I was like, Mom, that's sweet. That's too much. What the hell? Mom, I'm sorry. I have to tell people that.
You should send your mom the song The Best Day. And then she's just like, oh, it's so nice. I have the best day with you.
Yeah, The Best Day is a very nice song.
Yeah. But so far, I think my favorite, after she re-recorded Red, I feel like I have this feeling of like, is it my favorite album now? Because my favorite album used to be Reputation, because I really like how Taylor is like so fierce and like, you know, dominant and things like that. And like she came back stronger than a 90s trend, literally.
Yes.
But anyway, speaking about All Too Well, like how she gave the fans what they wanted, I really hope in the recorded version of Reputation she's gonna give us Getaway Car as like a lead single, because that would be so iconic. I absolutely love that song. It's so good.
Yeah, I think for Reputation re-recorded version, I think it would be Getaway Car, and then for Speak Now it would be Enchanted.
No, it has to be The Last Kiss. Come on.
No, it would never happen. This song, The Last Kiss, is cursed to me, because during the time when Zoe was going through a breakup,
bruh,
she literally listened to this song every day, and I was like,
on loop, like 24 hours, because like the lyrics. Okay, I need to open the lyrics, and I need to talk about it now, because like the lyrics.
It's because during that time, she called me every day, and then she played that song every day, and then every day when I was working on my like my homework, and then suddenly, why is The Last Kiss again? And then she just kept singing, and then she sang and she cried at the same time.
Okay, you need to listen to this. You need to listen to me like talk about the lyrics of this song, because obviously you haven't gone through a heartbreak that is like similar to this one. Okay, but like
how dare you?
It just makes so much sense, because she's talking about like like how she's so happy to see that person, you know, let that July 9th, the beat of your heart jumps through your shirt, I can still feel your arms, and then like, you know, the feeling of happiness of being in somebody's arms. But then now she'll go sit on the floor wearing his clothes, and all that I know is I don't know how to be something you missed. And then to feel like, you know how you see memes of like people saying like in relationships the girls usually like steal the boys' hoodies and stuff like that, because it's like it has their like scent, and like it gives them a sense of security and things like that. And this just really gives that image. And like now she is in his clothes, but then she isn't happy or anything, because that's the only thing that she has that reminds her of him. And like she's so sad, she's just sitting in the bathroom floor, like not in a bed, not in a chair, not in like normal places, because like she's so overwhelmed by sadness, and she's just sitting on the bathroom floor crying. And that's just so on point, don't you agree?
Guys,
come on,
see how obsessed she is with this song. I cannot bear with it
because
anymore.
it's so well written. Come on, like I don't really feel sad or anything anymore, but like now looking at the lyrics again, it just feels like even if you're not going through a heartbreak, you can appreciate like how well written the lyrics are.
One of the most powerful thing about Taylor Swift is her lyrics. Even though you haven't gone through what she's gone through, you can feel it, because her description of that kind of emotion, or how she pictured the scenery, is just, I think it's really her style. And I think that's something about country music as well, like how country music taught her how to describe certain things, and she really used it in her music, and that's just so good. I think that kind of influenced me as well.
Yeah, and okay, going back to the last case, because I haven't finished talking about it.
Guys,
you know how sometimes when Taylor Swift writes songs about like oh I hate that person, or like oh you're so bad and things like that, and like something like I knew we're trouble and things like that, but then you know like sometimes she writes about like okay maybe back to December, like saying she's sorry and things like that, but sometimes she writes about how like she lost the like love of her life in that moment, but then she still wishes them well and things like that. And it's just so heartbreaking, because you want to hate that person sometimes to make yourself feel better.
Okay, yes,
but sometimes that
true.
person hasn't really done that much stuff to hurt you and things like that. It's just maybe you just part ways, or you just grew apart and things like that. And it just feels even more sadder, because it's something that life brings.
Yes.
It's not some people like doing something that disrespects you and things like that. It's just like a naturally growing a part of life, and you still wish them well, and it's just so sad. Come on, it's just so sad. And just like in this lyric she wrote like, and I hope the sun shines and it's a beautiful day, and something reminds you wish you had stayed and stuff like that. But when you know going through a heartbreak, you just want to like curse that person or something like that, but because that person is not, you still like, you love that person before, and it's not like they cheated on you or anything. It's just like you guys didn't work out, and you still want to wish them well, but at the same time, you know, you have this internal feeling of like, oh, I wish you well, but at the same time I don't know how to move on, things like that. It's just
I think I also have this kind of feeling that like when I love someone, I would also wish them the best, because you cannot have that person anymore, or like you know you have to like stay away from this person because you feel hurt, and then if you continue to love this person, it will be very toxic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like wishing them well, and then just hope that they will be good and happy, and finding their own life, maybe finding their loved ones someday.
Yeah.
And it really hurts. It's even worse than wishing them bad luck and I want to see them
and things like that. And like I think I wonder if you feel like you are going through this phase in life, I would recommend you to listen to Happiness by Taylor Swift. It's like in the Evermore album, and it's like so mature. It's more like a mature look on how love is. It's because when you're young, usually you think that you break up, even if it's like natural stuff, and not like, okay, we're not talking about cheating and things like that, but like, you know, naturally growing apart, or maybe you realize your goals aren't same, and you grow apart and things like that, but you still hate that person because, why did you break up with me and things like that. I thought love could conquer everything. But when you grow up and you realize, like, you know, when you're together there's happiness, but that doesn't mean that after you there's no happiness. You know, and like that person, maybe you want to hate them, but then that person really didn't do you any wrong, and you just have this really, you know, contradictory kind of feeling inside. So you want to wish them well because you love them, but at the same time, because you guys didn't end up together, you have this maybe tiny spiteful feeling. But It's just, I think, more mature look on love and life and how, you know, you enjoy the moment when you're together. And now that even if you didn't work out together, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve happiness.
Yeah.
It's just maybe not with that person anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just finished her essay about Last Kiss. How the Last Kiss is her best song ever. Okay.
No, not really. I don't know. Okay, if like just by the storyline of it, I would love All Too Well.
Oh yes.
But I don't really think I have like a favorite, like absolute favorite Taylor Swift
I don't think
song,
I have
because
to.
most of them.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I think I have a favorite song according to like scenarios. Maybe if I want to be petty, maybe I want to be in love, or maybe I want to be like fierce, or like, you know, the man and things like that. She has like a perfect song for every scenario, and I think I do have a favorite for each kind of scenario. But if you just ask me to pick just one, I don't think I'll be able to do that, because it's not like all her songs are just around one topic. It's a big variety, so you can, yeah, there's a lot to choose from. I was just thinking about Reputation, and then like suddenly my favorite song, I remember I told Kingsley a lot of times before, I really like the song Dress. Because like I think that song is about like sex, but she wrote it in a way there's like
I
no
bought the dress
the
just
word
for you to
sex
take it off.
at all.
Yeah.
And then things like that, it's just so subtle and it's just so sexy. And then I remember when I was trying to sing that song, you know, there's like a part where it's like, ha, ha, ha.
No way.
I remember my flatmate was like, oh my god, stop making weird noises. And I was like, it's a song, come on.
But I think Reputation is really a smart idea of like coming back after a very serious scandal. I think it's just such a pop culture moment in the industry, because and also I think like Reputation has this kind of contrast when people listen to it. Like when they heard Reputation, it's about Taylor Swift talking about fame and how the media blames her.
But to be honest, I feel
it's
like
not.
most of the like half of the songs in the album is not really about reputation.
Yes, that's
it's
the
really
thing.
about like love and things
Yes.
like that. And I feel like The Man, like this song could be in the Reputation era more than Lover era. So I don't know.
But I think like overall the Reputation album is more about her relationship with her boyfriend instead of the media. And I think it's such a smart idea that when she's doing the promotion, it's more like, oh, like media. But when you listen to it, it's more about love, just love. And then the visual of that era and how she clapped back to all these scandals is just so genius. I think no one else in the music industry can actually come back like her during the era.
I just feel so sad I'm poor, and also like I'm not in the UK during the time of the Reputation
they were in
tour,
Manchester.
because that, I think like, I don't know, maybe she will have like even more iconic tours in the future, but so far I feel like the slay girl vibe of the like tours that Reputation has it. Like I think like even if it's like Folklore Evermore and she has more fans and things like that, it's just not that vibe anymore.
Girl.
It's more like, you know, a dark light academia vibes and things like that.
But save your money, because she's coming back on tour.
Yeah, 2023,
Yes,
I think.
please save the money. Please save the money. I would definitely go to one of the concerts with you.
Broke.
Like even if it's
I'm broke.
even if it's like the last row in the arena or in a stadium.
I'm going to dress as a mirror ball. I'm a mirror ball. Imagine how crazy that would be if we actually get to meet Taylor Swift. You told me like she picks her fans and things like that. Imagine how crazy that would be. I would like freak out so much. I would like, I'm like R.I.P. I die dead.
Yes. Like the old Kingsley can't come to the front right now. Why? Because he met Taylor Swift.
Because he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really want to meet her, but not because she's my idol, but I just want to tell her that like how her music changed my life and how she introduced me to Western pop and also so many great artists, because the fact that she also supported different artists like Troye Sivan and other musical acts, and she just introduced me to a wide range of music, and then her versatility as well. She did country, she did alternative, she did pop, like so many different styles, and I wouldn't say she's the most versatile artist in the industry, but her music does tell stories, and yeah, I just love her.
Yeah, I also feel like even without her music and things like that, she's just generally a really nice person to hang out with.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
looks
true.
like her personality is just like so bubbly and fun, and I could see her TikToks of her getting drunk and stuff like that was just so funny. But it would be nice to like know her as a friend and things like that. And she prioritizes her friends' relationships as well. I think there's an interview with Camilla, not Taylor Swift with Camilla, but like Camilla talks about how Taylor Swift is a really great friend because like if she texts Taylor Swift and things like that, she would like reply really fast and things like that, even though she's so busy. And like Camilla said, like it's so hard for her because she doesn't know how to manage the time effectively sometimes to like reply to her friends and like even work and things like that. And she just admires Taylor so much for that point. So I feel like Taylor Swift also has like her priorities right. It's not just like dominated by work
yeah.
and things like that. Of course she cherishes her work and things like that, but she also makes time for people that matter to her and people she cares about, which is like how this woman, like how we all have 24 hours a day. How can she do that?
How can she make so many
sense
different
at all.
albums, like when Rihanna is just doing makeup brands?
But that's different though, because like that's like Rihanna's into like the business vibe now. Business industry.
I mean, Rihanna is coming back, but I just
oh my god, the Super Bowl thing is gonna be so legendary. I think
so. And I kind of look forward to her new music. But back to Taylor Swift, it's like she's also a businesswoman, and how can she manage to re-record so many different albums and then suddenly come back with a brand new album, and then she's going on tour again while I'm just like suffering even just being in an office. And then after I go home and I'm like, oh, I'm so sick of today. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do the dishes. I just want to sleep. I don't even want to take a shower. And then she just, suddenly when I wake up, a new album.
This woman, I just can't. I think there was a joke about like, how Taylor recorded her albums during the pandemic, and also like the new albums and things like that, and how people said like if the COVID vaccination or like the COVID problem was handled by Taylor Swift, it would have been gone like by now because she's so productive. I think one of the memories that came to my mind was I think when it was her 1989 album, and then because of the time difference, and then her Bad Blood music video came out, and it was like our recess time. And then we were watching that in the classroom, and it was just, oh my god, that's so iconic. It's like the biggest. I was just so shocked. It was such a nice production. It's like a whole like revenge storyline, but then it's all like spies and stuff. It's very James Bond kind of vibe things, and she got so many people in that to work with her in that video as well. And it's just so.
But
amazing.
Talking about 1989, I think that's the twisting point when most of my friends didn't like her anymore because she chose the pop route, and most of my high school friends, they liked the country route of her. And then suddenly at a point that like so many of my friends, they suddenly didn't like Taylor Swift anymore. They're like, oh, she's doing pop music. It doesn't even sound nice. Shake It Off is so bad. But honestly, guys, if you ever sing Shake It Off, this is a song that's so hard to sing.
I've tried it before.
It's so hard to sing. So don't ever say
something.
Shake It Off is not a nice song because it's so hard to sing. So just go sing it. If you cannot, then shut up. But I think that I'm quite rooting for her during the 1989 era because I'm still so in love with her, and I really support her like all her music.
I just really love her music videos.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so iconic.
Yeah, and then that's
But
when...
I think it's one of the albums that has the most music videos.
Yeah. And then that's when she started to work with Joseph Kahn, the MV director.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And until Reputation, some of the old Taylor fans come back because she can see like how their childhood idols just reinvent themselves and come back stronger than ever. I think during the time, she just made a lot of people fall in love with her again. And yeah, if she ever released Lover instead of Reputation, it wouldn't work out that way. She need that savage moment in her catalog and then jump back to a really like commercial. I would say Lover is quite a commercial album. It's got everything you need. A radio hit, like me, you need to calm down. Yeah, it's a catchy song.
Lovey-dovey,
like you need to calm down, but at the same time, this album has got some.
I don't really like Me.
Authentic
I like
moment, like
Street,
Cornelia Street.
But I don't really like. I like Lover is good, but it's definitely not my favorite album.
Yeah. And then some people even say like, it's nice to have a friend. It's actually so folklore. Because it's really sound like any song from the album.
I think Soon You'll Get Better is also really good.
It kind of correlates to folklore, the theme, because folklore is about like high school friends and then high school, lovey-dovey drama.
Yeah.
And then, like in Betty,
Yeah, Betty James and Inez Augustine.
Yeah, so it's nice to have a friend, such a folklore song, but the rest of the Lover album is so commercial, I would say. And then people been talking about Cruel Summer is one of her best songs, and
I think it's okay.
I'm here to drop a very controversial comment. It's just okay, but I do respect that.
I think the highlight for me, it's definitely Cornelia Street. It has that kind of raw emotion in it more than the commercial side of music.
I used to walk my friends home or walk my loved ones home, and Cornelia Street, that song is just I wouldn't want to live on this street without you, because it reminds me of the memory between you and me.
Yes,
and I relate it so much.
Sense.
Imagine, like, I am so close with a friend, and I used to walk that friend home, and then suddenly we're not friends anymore, or maybe we have an argument, or maybe we just go apart, and then whenever I walk that street again, it will remind me of that person and then how sad it is to just
I feel
thinking about a person.
I feel like when you're happy and things like that in a relationship, you relate that, like certain objects or certain streets to that particular memory. But when you're sad or when you're like broken up, and that still applies. So when you're walking through the street, it's like everything reminds like you of him or her, and then it's just it just feels I don't want to walk the street again if I ever lose you. And like you're driven by like love, really love that person, but you're also like driven by how fear of losing them and things like that. And also feel like if you love somebody, you'll always have this fear of losing them. Even it is like Taylor and Joe right now, they're like so happy together. It's like a really firm relationship and long relationship, which is like we're so happy for her. But sometimes we see the songs and like we can see that even like how firm and like happy Taylor is now with Joe, there's still like insecurities in her mind about like love and things like that. And this just makes her so much more human, because we can definitely relate to that.
Perfect. Yeah. Not any relationship is perfect, and even they're in really nice terms, they will have arguments. They will have something that they don't like about each other, and it's just so human.
Yeah, sometimes we see it's like Taylor is with us, this like mega star, like who would want to break up with her? She's like the nicest person ever, and things like that. But then we still see it as Taylor. Like, she doesn't see herself as this megastar, like, deserving everything. And she still has this kind of insecurity about herself. And, like, normal daily people's worries about, like, you fear that your mother will not be there anymore. Or you fear that your lover is going to leave you. Or, just issues that normal people encounter. And she writes about these songs instead of, like, feeling, I'm entitled to these things. You guys must love me and things like that. Which makes her so much more likable as a person. And that's why us Swifties really love her.
Yeah, I really don't like back then when people, I mean, up till now, even sometimes when I see the comment sections, they will be like, oh, Taylor Swift releasing new songs. It must be about another breakup. It must be about her boyfriend or something. I mean, to be honest, for real, like everyone go through heartbreaks and everyone go through different relationships, and it's just so normal to date someone, and then especially for a 20-year-old person, and it's just because she's a public figure, and then it's not that like you have the right to criticize her. It's just she's publicly being criticized about her relationships, but it's so normal to date someone, and it's so normal to write about heartbreaks, and it's not even a big deal. If you really like her and like her music, and then when you listen to her music now, it's so much more mature, which is very nice because you can see the growth in her.
I feel like she's also rewriting the narrative of people's impression
Yeah.
of her about the breakup song girl with maturity and growth and
but that's such a
other
good
stories.
thing. You're not trying to be mature when you're young, but you're not trying to be, I'm still relatable to the kids when I'm at my 30s. You know what I mean? She's not
She's
trying
like
to
writing
fit in
about
the world, but she's writing her
her life
writing
and her
own
own
feelings.
narrative.
Yeah.
That's good. And I feel like it's such a glow up, writing songs about your ex to writing songs with your loved ones, like how she wrote Champagne Problems
Yes.
and things like that with Joe. It's just like that's such a glow up. That's such a sweetest thing ever.
I think they just had their 6th year anniversary.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's the ultimate dating goal, I would say.
Just like happy that Taylor's happy. You know how like in the Last Kiss songs, your name for
Why are we going back to Last Kiss again?
No, because I wanted to talk about one of the lyrics about
Okay.
You're something forever, the name on my lips, and this song is about Joe, right? But it's Joe and Jonas Brothers, but now like it's actually Joe. It's like just another Joe, but it's the same name. So she kind of predicted her own future.
Yeah, and also I just realized one thing because for the song Invisible String, there's a lyrics about like I am sending you your baby's gifts.
Yeah.
And then, but I think that song is particularly about Joe.
It is.
Joe,
maybe not the whole song, but that particular lyric.
But that lyric. Yeah, and then it's just a glow up because you're going from someone you hate so much, like obviously in Forever and Always, and now you're sending their baby's gift. It's like a full circle moment in your life when you can come into good terms and then you really congratulate them and then wish them all the best in their own life, because
I agree.
It's just especially when we Zoe and I are still growing up, and we still haven't reached that point yet. We still haven't met someone that we can marry to. No. We're not gonna have babies very soon. But yeah, it's more about when you grow up and you become more mature, and then you start to forgive someone that you hate so much back then when you were young, and then just wish them all the best. It is a pretty mature move to just because sometimes the best way to make yourself happy is not to like seeing someone doing bad, but wishing them the best and then just let it go.
I think that's sometimes you feel like you're moving on, but I feel like the true moment you move on is actually you see that person or things like that, and you would just wish them well instead of having any feelings. Yeah,
it's
anything
not. Yeah, it's not about like wanting apologies from that person or you need to do certain things to end this kind of relationship. No, there are no certain things that you can do, but just wish them well. Like that's the most important thing. I think that's kind of like a life lesson that everyone should learn about, because I feel like even when someone's going like up to their 70s or 80s, they may not learn how to forgive someone and to wish them well. Like, so I mean, I'm just 21 and there's still a very like long journey for me to go.
And I feel like I'm very lucky to be able to like be born in this era where it's not like I'm just listening to Taylor Swift now. I was listening to her songs like 10 years ago, and I feel like I'm growing up with her at the same time, and at the same time it's very relatable because when she writes about breakup songs or like lovey-dovey stuff, it's more like my high school phase, so like it's more about that phase that I can relate to. But now like when I'm in uni and things like that, like slightly becoming more mature attempting to be more mature, and then like starting to like go into like adulting, things like that, you listen to more mature songs and like Folklore, Evermore, and then like that now she has like her new album Midnights, and it's about not necessarily about heartbreaks and things like that, but it's about things that kept her up at night. So it can be like a mixture of like, fear or love or like happiness and things like that. Like I don't know yet. I'm just speculating now, but I look forward to her music and more times that I can relate to what she's going through as well. Yeah, I bought that vinyl. It's
Yeah,
so
I know.
expensive. And then she tells me it's a clock and I'm supposed to buy all four now? No, I'm
She's
poor.
a businesswoman now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, it's a really
yeah,
nice
and
idea,
also,
but I can't afford it now.
no, I'm not buying all the versions of the album. But when you talk about like how you listen to her songs now, when I listen back to songs like the Lucky Ones, when I was small, I didn't really understand the meaning of this song because, okay, the Lucky One, what's that about? I don't know. But when I listen to this song now, I finally understand the meaning of it because it's about when her dating life was so publicly criticized.
Yeah.
But somebody would tell her that, that can make you be like gain so much popularity because everyone will know about you now. You can see your billboards everywhere about your dating life and stuff like that. You should feel lucky because you are a hit topic in the society. But how she went through these kind of stuff when she was just 20, and it's such a heavy topic. And now that I'm 20, I don't think if I were even famous, I wouldn't think I have the ability to tackle this kind of problem. And
Yeah,
then
I feel like she
was
has gone
going
through
it.
so much, but at the same time, I feel like she has a really strong support system. Like she's very close to her mom, and like she talks to her mom about everything. And I feel like her mom is also a very strong person to be able to handle all this pressure, like from the media, and also like, you know, at the same time like care for her daughter and things like that. Because like when people are attacking Taylor, I feel like her mom will be very saddened because her daughter's going through all this, but like her mom can be able to comfort her and things like that. It just feels like that relationship between Taylor and her mom is very special.
And I feel like this kind of relationship between her mom and her is just one of the driving force to keep her still doing music. And I mean, obviously she's a very persistent, is it called persistent person?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And she's just very determined of like what she wanted to achieve in life. And yeah, I think that kind of attitude brings her success. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking about, you know, forgiveness and like growing up and things like that, I suddenly thought about her song Tolerated, and it talks about like different versions of like you think it's love and things like that. When you're younger, you just feel like, oh, you're looking at her and then you cheating on me, and like, oh, we're never ever gonna get back together. It's not like this deeper look into the relationship, but now in like more recent albums she looks into like deeper vibes, the relationship, sides of the relationship, and then, you know, how like you think it's love and like it's just like, or maybe obsession. You think it's love, but they just tolerate it, and like it's not really real love, and you just think that's love, and you feel like you're stuck, and things like that. It's just more mature, and feels like it's more like a grown up kind of, you know, love, real love things, and like real problems, I think, you encounter in love, because most of the times you feel like you love that person, but yeah, they don't treat you the way back, but because you admire them and things like that, and you just like, they tolerate you and you tolerate them, and then you feel like you're happy but you're not, and then but maybe because you're married, you feel like, oh, I you know, I have to stay in this marriage, but like, you know, the songs that Taylor wrote, like the bravest thing I ever did was run, or like, you know, how like, you know, the past is frozen behind glass, but I've got me, and things like telling people that there's not a late moment for you to move on, and like yeah, you know, right where you left me, and then I think there's the other song where you told me before, where it's like two different endings, and you get to choose your own ending.
Yeah, that's Evermore. There's one song called "Right Where You Left Me," and then the other one is "It's Time to Go."
Yeah, it feels, and then the way the way you interpret it, I was like, oh, it makes so much sense, because we are in control of our lives, and even if circumstances are really hard, but we can still attempt to make a change. Like, do we let that thing defeat us, or do we take a stand?
Yeah. Like in the Evermore album, the last track is Evermore, and then there's a lyrics called "This pain will be forevermore." And yeah, everyone's got their pain and got their traumas, like this sad memories. But you can either choose, oh, right where you left me. Oh, I'm still here. I'm still stuck in here. and I cannot move on, or it's time to go.
Yeah.
And I think that also relate to one of her interviews. She said something like, the best thing to move on is not about needing to forgive someone, but actually you can carry that kind of emotion with you as you grow up. And at some point of your life, you can like move on. And then I think is really relatable to both of our journey with being in love with Taylor Swift, because when we were young, we listened to her like very like teenage love songs. But now that when we are like in our 20s and we
love
get to
so much more
have a closer
complicated
look,
than that. Yeah.
yeah,
And she dives into those kind of aspects of love as well.
Yeah, problems in life, topics in life. And I think it's also something that kept both of us in this fandom, is because we can see how she reinvented herself, and we're literally growing up with her instead of just, oh, she's saying the same stuff again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like in her songs, she has this narrative. Like she's storytelling. In her albums, it's like she's storytelling. But like, you know, the new albums and things like that, like the albums as a whole, not just like the songs in the albums, it feels like it's like storytelling of her whole life, her growth process, and things like that as well. It's just, I feel like I'm super lucky to be able to listen to all the songs and like grow up with her. And if I have the chance in the future to, you know, see her in person, maybe not like, you know, even talk to her and things like that, maybe just going to a concert and, you know, just, you know, admiring her presence and enjoying the moment, enjoying her interactions with her fans and things like that would mean so much to me.
Yeah, it's just like a very surreal moment when you finally meet someone you admire so much.
Yeah.
When we were young, and then it's like, oh yeah, we've at some point of our life we're in the same room, we're connected, and then that's already it.
Yeah, some of the artists that I've sort of like liked or like said I loved before, you know, it just comes and goes. It's like maybe I really love this album, and then maybe this new album, and there's a new album, and I was just like, maybe it's not too much my cup of tea anymore. It's not necessarily like I don't like them, but maybe it's just not such an ongoing thing. But like for Taylor Swift, like I've liked her from the beginning. Like I've heard her songs, and until now, everything like maybe like during like for example Lover, like that album, I don't really. It's not my favorite, but does that mean like I don't like Taylor Swift anymore? No, it's just like it's not the album that I love. That I love the most. But then like, you know, still there's still like continuous respect and like admiration for this artist throughout all these years, and like stemming from my childhood. So now in like my 20s and maybe later in my 30s, like 20 or 30 years of listening to Taylor Swift, it's just to be able to have a chance to meet her then would be such a wholesome and like, you know, heartwarming moment.
I want to meet her too.
Yeah, especially
I've loved her for so long.
So right now we have a question we would like to ask you as well, since our whole episode today has been revolving around our childhood idol, Taylor Swift. So we would like to ask you a question about your childhood idol as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be Taylor Swift, but if it is, then congratulations. You're also one of us. Yeah. But the question we would like to ask is that if you have a childhood idol, what is it that makes you like him or her so much? So first, is it their personality? Or second, is it their, you know, their songs, their hit songs that you relate to? Or is it third, that you do not really have like a childhood idol? So let us know in the comment section below, and yeah, we would like to have a conversation with you if you're also like one of the Swifties and stuff like that. If you have any, you know, stories about listening to Taylor Swift, or how Taylor Swift songs has changed your life, or, you know, new speculations about the new upcoming album, feel free to share it with us, because we love to, you know, talk with you and also, you know, share different thoughts. And, you know, who knows, like our theories might actually be true because this woman just has everything planned, you know?
And then maybe even you know the time when she set her nails in the delicate
that's so video. Crazy, like, bro,
it's the Lover color tone, and I was like
who would have thought of that? Like, seriously, that one is like the most hidden Easter egg ever. Anyway,
yeah. So like,
yeah, this is the end of this episode. Of course, we still have like tons of good stuff to say about Taylor Swift, but we don't want to give it all away. Maybe we will have like extended versions of Taylor Swift discussion in the future, and we want you to listen to us talk stuff again and not get bored of us.
Please stay tuned. Yeah.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.